The other kids walked away. He stayed there. Accused number one gave them a 50 rands to share and said they should not go near the sheep. They took the money and went to a nearby shop to go and buy snacks. Whilst they were at the shop, accused 1 and 2 approached them and asked them to keep an eye over the sheep. On their way back to the mountain, they met Mafusi. She called them. She asked them what accused number 1 wanted. They said he did not want anything, and they left back to the mountain. Whilst on the mountain, his conscience bugged him, and he told Dai that they should go back to Mafusi and tell her the truth. They went back to her and told her what they saw and what accused number 1 said. Mafusi then asked them to wait until the accused returned to collect the sheep. He, however, went home, and at approximately 1800 hours he returned to the mountain. He saw accused numbers 1 and 2 walking up the mountain with alcohol in their possession. He then went to Mafusi and told her told her that accused numbers 1 and 2 are on the mountain. Mafusi and Matleke then also climbed the mountain. They stood on top of the mountain and saw that the accused have already removed 1 sheep from the ditch, and they were busy taking the other one out. They then asked Mafusi to assist them. She told them that she does not want to help them with stolen goods. Sergeant Masuel arrived on the scene because Mafusi had already called him. When they saw Sergeant Masuel, they ran away. Sergeant Masuel, on the other hand, testified that he was called by a Harrison skippers who informed him that his workers found sheep at Takalatsa. On his way to the scene, he called for backup. When he arrived at the street there were a lot of people, including Matleke and Mafusi. Matleke and Mafusi then told him that accused numbers 1 and 2 are on top of the mountain busy slaughtering sheep. At that time, he was about 100 meters away from accused 1 and 2. He saw them carrying a sheep. They put it down. They went back to the ditch to fetch the other one. When he was about 50 meters from them, he screamed their respective names and asked them, what are they doing? They ran away. Later, Sergeant Stander and Constable Sirovenyane came and took the sheep away. He did not make a statement of what he saw, neither did he attempt to arrest any of the accused. He only made a statement plus minus 7 months after this event. That is the sum total of the witnesses who testified with regard to count 1. It is tried that the state bears the onus to prove all the elements of the offense against the accused. They bear no onus to prove their innocence. If there is doubt pertaining to the guilt of the accused, they are entitled to the benefit thereof. The only issue in dispute with regard to count 1 is the identity of the thieves. It is common cause that the sheep was stolen. Theft is a continuous crime. It is clear that when the identity of a perpetrator is in dispute, the identifying witness's testimony must not only be credible, but the identification of the perpetrator must be reliable. Just the summary of the testimonies of the witnesses clearly show that there are different versions as to what happened there. There are also different versions as to what the dramatis persona did on that day. It is my considered opinion that the adage that one cannot make a good omelette from rotten eggs applies with regard to count 1. The versions of the witnesses are replete with improbabilities, contradictions, and in some cases plain lies. It is nigh impossible to discern a coherent and consistent version from the different testimonies. I do not intend to draft a catalogue of the inherent improbabilities and the contradictions in the versions. They state by arguing that the version of Tlokomelo Matolo is the best and most coherent and that it should be accepted, actually conceded that the versions of the other witnesses are not credible. I, however, disagree. If one looks at Tlokomelo's testimony, it is clear that he is contradicted by all the other witnesses. He was also confronted with an affidavit made by Taye, and even the statement of Taye contradicts Tlokomelo. Tlokomelo testified that he and Taye spoke to Mafusi on 3 different occasions. First, when she asked them what accused number 1 wanted, and they said nothing. Second, when they decided to go back to tell her the truth, since they lied to her earlier. Third, when they went back to her to tell her that accused number 1 and 2 are at the mountain to fetch the sheep. Mafusi contradicts him directly on this because she did not testify about these 3 different occasions whereat he and Taye told her about accused number 1 or accused number 1 and 2. Furthermore, neither Mafusi nor Matleke testified that they were alerted by Tlokomelo to the fact that accused 1 and 2 went up the mountain. He further testified that later he went with Mafusi and Matleke up the mountain. Neither of them confirmed this. He did not mention that his mother was also on the mountain the evening. He directly contradicts his mother's testimony. It must be recalled that his mother said she questioned him at home about the fact that accused number 1 took him to a cave, and then he spilled the beans to his mother as to what happened at the mountain. Tlokomelo did not testify about that at all. He told his mother that accused number 1 promised to give them 150 rands at a later occasion. According to Taye's affidavit, accused number 1 gave them a 200 rands note and told them to take 100 rands, 50 rands each, and they gave him 100 rands back. He is contradicted by Tai with regard to the money. He testified that the accused asked Mafusi to help them, and she refused. Mafusi's direct evidence is that neither of the accused spoke to her, they spoke to each other. Hlokomelo's mother, on the other hand, testified that the accused spoke to her and promised her to give her the intestines of the sheep, and she then told them that she does not use stolen goods. That also contradicts Hlokomelo's evidence. It is the minute detail that was elicited in cross-examination by the legal representatives of the accused that actually found the witnesses wanting. The discussions that took place on top of the mountain, who went to the mountain first, what time they went to the mountain, it must be recalled that while some witnesses said it was 8 o'clock in the evening, others said no, it was still light, it was during the day. Even Sergeant Masweu is contradicted by the witnesses, because he says he met them where there were a group of people, and at that point Matleke and Mafusi informed him that they saw accused number 1 and 2 on top of the mountain busy slaughtering sheep. Both Matleke and Mafusi did not testify about making this report to Sergeant Masweu. According to them, when Masweu came, they were there on the mountain. Sergeant Masweu says when he was 50 meters away from the two accused, he shouted their names. And asked them what they are busy doing. None of the witnesses who were on the scene testified that Sergeant Masweu ever mentioned the names of the accused that evening on that mountain. Even the phone call to Sergeant Masweu is a mystery, because Sergeant Masweu says he received a phone call from one Harrison Skippers. And it is a result of that he went to the mountain. It is only in cross-examination, when it was put to him that there is a witness that Mafusi that says she called him, that he then said, oh yes, she called him whilst he was already on his way to the scene. I find it strange that he would not tell this witness when she called him to say, I'm on my way to the scene. The impression was right through this case that it is the witness that alerted Sergeant Masuel to the incident and not Mr. Skippers. So it is clear that in the face and in the teeth of the allegation of a conspiracy between these witnesses and probably Sergeant Masuel, that it would be very problematic to rely on these witnesses. Mr. Kambule's testimony is that he saw the accused the morning of the 2nd, and they accused that blood spat on their clothes and their clothes was wet. Coincidentally, he is the witness that heard the confession or admission made by accused number 1. These two sisters and their friends were the people on the scene on the 20th of March. They then coincidentally are the same people on the scene when accused number 1 made the admission or confession. According to Sergeant Masuel, it is Mr. Kambule, the same person that saw accused 1 and 2 the morning of the 2nd, that told Masuel about what accused number 1 said at the tavern. Strangely, Mr. Kambule does not mention this incident with Sergeant Masuel, that he actually went and told Sergeant Masuel what accused number 1 told him. The only witness not linked to Kambule, the Mutlokwa sisters and their friends, is Mr. Mukwena. It is clear to me that there is no coherent, credible or reliable basis on which the accused can be convicted on count number 1. Even an attempt to pick any one of the versions, as the prosecutor attempted to do, obviously fails dismally. I have doubt in my mind that the two accused were on that mountain on the 12th of March 2020.
Lekgotla le na le pelaelo kelelong ya lona hore batsofuwa ne le le mono thabeng eno.
They are both entitled to the benefit thereof. The accused ought to be acquitted on this count as well. I therefore make the following order. Both accused are found not guilty and discharged on all counts. The court adjourns.
And with that, we take a break. Let's see you in a moment.